just made it a mission, spent about a couple hours getting it fired up and just blowing it. It was finally got it running on the muffs. Never dawned on me that 25-inch shaft doesn't run for extended periods of time that way, because it just doesn't get the water to the guess what, the engine control module, which sits on the very top. So I took a perfectly good boat and screwed it up, which it's prone to do. Because Nolan said, well, why didn't you just hook it up to the hose connection that's right there, take the telltale off and screw the hose right into it? Well, because I'm stupid and I didn't know. Anyway, so I'd get out and would run, get hot, and would run until I turned it off. Turn it off, wouldn't start until it chose to. I don't know if it caused a cold joint, or but there was this whole body of evidence that if you would send it off to these one or two people that would reflash that engine control module, it would fix the problem. So I'm looking at an engine that's already obsolete. All the parts were good. Everything was running fine. Do I invest $600 in this? I finally decided yes, and it solved the problem. That I created myself by letting it overheat.
I lost a EMF once about 20 miles offshore. They both sizes. That was $3,000. When it went, it just I was done. 20 miles out.
Good feeling offshore.
That was great.
It's
Got
great
pulled on
feeling.
got pulled on by a fly actually.
All right.
Is this it? This is it. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. Port Aransas City Hall, 710 West Avenue A, Port Aransas, Texas, 78373. We will hereby call to order at 5:02 p.m. Public hearing. The Port Aransas Planning and Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing on the following. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. Item 2.1, FPLT 21-1666, plat of Cinnamon Shore South, Unit 3, Block 1, lots 1R through 9R, 0.7459 acres, being a replat of Lot 2, Block 1, Cinnamon Shore South, Unit 3. Part of Cinnamon Shore 2 PUD, a map of which is recorded in volume, pages 3 through 3 map records in Oasis County, Texas. Applicant Mustang Island Development, Inc., property location 5800 Highway 361. Does anyone have anything to speak on regarding this item? With that, we'll move on to 2.2. FPLT 21-1671, plat of Cinnamon Shore South, Unit 5, part of Cinnamon Shore 2 PUD, a 41.08 acre tract, being a replat of lots 9 through 11 Mustang Island, a map of which is recorded in volume 38, pages 130 through 131 of the map records in Oasis County, Texas. Applicant Mustang Island Development, Inc., property location 5800 Highway 361. Does anyone have comment on this item? All right, moving on to citizens' comments and reports. Last meeting, this was solely on me. We allowed citizens to comment during the citizens' comment and reports section, and then we also allowed them to comment when we were doing our items for consideration. It did not go very smoothly. We were trying to open it up and let everybody have a voice, but then people abused their time limits, and then the petitioners and the applicants were not allowed to say their piece in a formal manner. So going forward, if citizens have comments on any items that are up for consideration, please do it during the initial public hearing or during the citizens' comment period. If we do that, hopefully everything will run smoother and everybody who is party in the application can have their chance to be properly heard. With that, we have nobody on our list for citizens' comments tonight. So one last chance.
It's working already, huh?
Number 4, items for consideration. Discuss, take action, or pass on any of the following items. Discuss and take appropriate action on the minutes from the Tuesday, May 25th, 2021 regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. So scroll.
to approve.
Nick Lorette has made the motion to approve the minutes from the May 25th, 2021 meeting. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Kyle Burgess to approve the minutes from the Tuesday, May 25th meeting. Call the roll.
Garrett Kipke,
Yes.
Nick Brett,
Yes.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 4.2, discuss and take action to confirm that no dune permit BFDP 21-1844 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit will allow the construction of a wood privacy fence along the south side of the property to the critical dune line. Applicant Bill Bowder, manager, property location 1419 South 11th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission. So this is a pretty straightforward no dune determination. Coral K, represented by Mr. Bowder, wants to put a fence. It does fall within the 1,000-foot dune protection line, hence the need for this process. The one diagram, I think, pretty much lays out the location of the proposed fence reasonably well. And then, of course, the photos kind of drive it home, clearly indicating that there are no critical dunes being impacted. Again, just still as I will reiterate often, just a function of our own coastal management plan that does require this process, even though there are no critical impacts whatsoever. So, like I said, I don't, if there's any questions, we'll entertain them, but staff recommends approval.
Taking a second to look through all this.
Sorry, I'm trying to find
I'm looking at the red line. It looks like the fence is going across a parking lot.
No, so the red line, the black dotted line.
Yeah,
is
the
fence.
Oh,
dash
that's
line.
1,000-foot line.
Yeah.
Got it, got it, got
The
it.
red line is the 1,000-foot
Understood.
line.
Where's the black dotted?
Down the road, past the.
Yeah, the photos show the kind of the different angles.
Yeah, so it's
But
right there.
they're-
So that red line that's in the center near the top, the black dotted line comes down through that, cuts over to the south, back down to the west.
Okay.
I'm sorry, to the east.
So the fence doesn't go beyond any of the existing structures?
No.
Like towards the beach, right?
Yeah, and it's just to keep people from Banyan Beach from using their parking lot and them cutting over.
If you look through all the pictures that are in there, it's
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
it's grass.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
St. Augustine.
they did a great job with the pictures.
So it's already improved, or it's St. Augustine, it's not dune grass or,
Correct, yeah.
Which is why it's.
right?
Yeah, even if it impacted, well, it's not, vegetation is not on a critical dune. It doesn't really matter whether it's natural
Right.
vegetation or not. It happened to be on a critical dune, so.
Make a motion for council to approve, no dune permit BFDP 211844.
Nick Lorette has made the motion to council to approve the no dune permit BFDP 21-1844. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Garrett Kipke has seconded the motion to approve no dune permit BFDP 21-1844.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
Garrett Kipke,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.3, discuss and take action to confirm that no dune permit BFDP 2.
1836, it's a typo.
I got it.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Glad I
Yeah.
caught myself.
I was gonna see. Wasn't gonna let you go there.
Thank you. Discuss and take action to confirm that no dune permit BFDP 21-1836 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit will allow the construction of a swimming pool and associated amenities. Applicant Bill Hooper, property location 510 Ocean View Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is the first no dune permit we actually have prepared by a pool company.
Yeah, they did a good
So,
job too.
but Nicole gives them some pretty good information, and it's, like I said, it's not rocket science, but they did a did do a pretty good job. Again, another no dune determination, meaning that the proposed activities don't have any impact whatsoever on any critical dune. But in our case, coastal management plan requires you confirm that. And so again, the diagrams and the photographs do a pretty good job of laying out where the proposed pool is going to be. Again, the photos indicate pretty clearly that there are no critical dunes being impacted. It does, however, fall within the 1,000-foot dune protection line. Therefore, we're here talking about it today. As there are no impacts, staff recommends approval. And this is, I'm sorry, it says that though, but the Ocean View subdivision, which I think most of you guys are familiar with.
Sure. And so on the old plat map here, that's the dashed line. Is that the 1,000-foot line on there?
The plat map or their survey?
The survey, I'm sorry.
Okay, that I believe is gonna be a approximate flood zone line. So they've got a portion that's in one flood zone, a portion that's in another flood zone. Neither a VE flood zone, so we don't have to worry about that in regards to the pool.
That line's, I know that area, that line's pretty close right there too. So they almost got it. They were in 900-foot-ish feet away, something like that.
Oh, no, that's not the 1,000-foot line on the other side of the street. I think.
Oh,
Yeah, the one exhibit has the red
Yeah,
line.
there it is. It's right in the middle
Yeah.
of the house. So I mean,
Yeah.
they were probably 900 and something feet off the 1,000-foot. I mean, off the water.
Yeah, but
Well, they're on the other
They're
side
on
of
the
the
other
street
side of
though.
the
Yeah,
street.
they're on the westbound, I mean, the eastbound side of that
they're on the beach
Ocean
side.
View.
Oh,
So yeah, so they are a little
They're-
closer.
Yeah. Completely.
They're on the beach side of it? No,
no, they're on the west side.
they're next door to, yeah.
Oh, they're next to your house.
Well, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right.
Sorry about
Yeah, right, 11 o'clock from the cul-de-sac. You're right. Sorry. Correct. They're still on 1,000-foot, either way.
Yeah.
Close doesn't count in dune permitting.
Where?
We do have another one coming up, the lot across
Yeah.
the street. That one's coming up to you guys soon, so I apologize for getting this.
Is that the 501?
I'll make a motion to approve BFDP 21-1836, no dune permit.
Kyle Burgess has motion to council to approve no dune permit BFDP 21-1836. We have a second. Nick Lorette has seconded the motion to approve no dune permit BFDP 21-1836.
Garrett Shipke,
Yes.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
and Chad Schneider.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 4.4, discuss and take action to confirm that dune permit BFDP 21-1659 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit will allow for the construction of a retaining wall, an extended driveway, and garage at an existing residence. Applicant Kelly and Greg Morganson, property location 140 Star Lane.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This one wasn't quite so lucky because there were some critical dune impacts, and we have the engineer preparing, Mr. Harris Hip. Thank you for joining us. So if there's any questions, I'm sure he's well equipped to answer them. But again, in the preparation, they've done an excellent job again, in staff's opinion, of kind of outlining what's involved. So again, the document, I believe, 100 cubic yards of impact, 107 mitigation. And they show the location of the limits of that. This is for the construction of a pool alone, correct? Is that, I'm sorry, pool, garage, and parking, additional parking. So if you look at the photo, there's a retaining wall. I assume that's going to be moved to the location identified to provide for that. And again, the additional parking they're asking for. Let's see what else. Like I said, diagrams probably are the best reference to go to, as well as the photos. Like I said, shows the existing retaining wall that'll be moved to accommodate the construction. meets all of the criteria of the coastal management plan. Therefore, we do recommend approval.
Lots of pages running through.
It's a pretty apparent, but I mean, again, just to point out, there is an existing property here already. So this is an addition to that house, obviously.
Where is Star? Oh, Mustang. Oh, yeah. Got it.
Exhibit 4 is probably the best.
So I'm looking at exhibit 2. It's critical damage created by mitigation efforts under previous, okay, there was a previous dune permit.
To build.
For the construction of the house.
Understood.
I want to say that was 2016.
So everything, it's not even, everything they're doing is not seaward of the house.
No, I thought
It looks like it's all street side.
kind of street side into this. Would that be south?
Southeast, 135 degrees. Okay, so they're going to go back and pile it on top of the original mitigations.
Correct.
There's a wall there now, so is the wall coming down and then moving over?
Right, that's correct, Harris, right? That retaining wall is going to be removed and just moved to accommodate the larger driveway in the garage.
I'm reading this mitigation procedure.
Yeah, I was too.
And we talk about cubic yards of impact, but of course, there's also the square footage of the vegetation is also referenced in there too. That's part of the whole mitigation requirement.
So in this case, they're gonna store the mitigated material on site
That's pretty
and then
typical.
reuse it.
And then just place it back. And we would never preclude them from also seeding if they chose to, but the GLO accepts storage of the existing material and reusing it. Actually, they almost prefer that. It provides, even though it may no longer be living material, it's organic and it does prevent the blowing, which stabilizes that sand enough to allow the revegetation. Really no different than if they were to choose hay to spread it. As long as you stabilize that sand from blowing, then it will revegetate. But
Yeah, and in my experience using the matting, the webbing that they've noted in here works really well. That
we've seen some really great success. Daniel, I don't know if that was Daniel. Did you guys do that? I was trying to think. I observed that months ago, a year ago, down maybe before the hurricane season last year down south. There was some activity down there that they'd used a netting and matting, and I thought was pretty effective.
yeah, that's anyway. That's what I was saying. That stuff's actually biodegradable. It actually just goes.
Technology just gets better and better.
Mhm.
It works well.
Of course, we immediately then had a couple of massive coastal flooding events. I
Mhm.
don't know that I went back there after that because this was before Hannah, and whatever happened after Hannah,
I usually seed it with native grass. Sometimes I'll put rye in it to hold together faster, but then the sunflowers just take over and everything else gets pushed out. Anybody have?
Was there ever, and forgive me, I was absent, but was there ever any headway made on the,
On the follow-ups?
so
We pushed it on the last meeting due to all the items on the agenda at the last meeting. And then the plan was to start it again with all the new members in the
Gotcha.
July meeting. So, assuming I'm gonna be with my kids on vacation, so assuming I can zoom in, I would like, we talked about bringing it back in with the new members at the July meeting to try to continue the discussion.
Gotcha.
And just keep pushing forward on it. So that is the plan as of now.
Correct.
I mean, obviously, we've got 3 new commissioners coming, so it's something we're gonna probably go back and forth on for a while. So ideally, bring everybody in and keep the conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'd say that.
You inviting a motion?
I am.
Yes, I'm trying to make one, if I can get to
Find the right number.
find the right number
Give
here.
Commissioner Kipke all the time he needs.
I'm just looking for the right number here.
4.4.
21-165.
21-1659.
Okay, I'll make a motion for council to approve BFDP 21-1659.
Garrett Kipke has made a motion to approve dune permit BFDP 21-1659.
I'll second that.
Kyle Burgess had seconded the motion to recommend to council to approve dune permit BFDP 21-165.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
Garrett Kipke,
Yes.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.5, discuss and take action to confirm that dune permit BFDP 21-1839 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit pertains to beach maintenance and does not include the construction of any structures. Applicant, City of Port Aransas, property location, Port Aransas City Beach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So even the city isn't excluded from the dune permitting requirements. And so every 5 years, or is relatively close to that timeframe, the city is required to renew our beach maintenance dune permit with the general land office. That allows us to keep the beaches graded in the event of a sargassum event, dispose of that material based on the contents of the plan, and just our normal beach maintenance, just the grading and the moving of sand and such. That this is the first time you've prepared it, Harris, right? The beach maintenance plan. So that's what you have before you. Just as a note, working from the water to mean high tide also requires the city get an Army Corps of Engineers permit to work in that area. So like I said, we're still subject to the same requirements as everyone else in some form or fashion. But this specifically relates to the maintenance of the beach, and again, identifies certain areas where we identify storage sites. It used to be on the older permits, there would be some back stacking sites. We no longer do that, but we still do front notching and do utilize certain storage areas. And part of the process is.
Can you break that down for me? The back stacking and notching? I know
Sure.
they used the area out in front of me 15 years ago for dumping once, and it was.
Sure. Well, it's,
for a while.
yeah,
It was
for,
aromatic for
Aromatic.
quite a while.
well, for years and years, again, in an effort to build what I still constantly remind the GLO is one of the most robust dune systems in all of the Texas coast. We would actually take material, be it just sand from our normal maintenance or more often from events such as seaweed events, and we would place them behind the existing toe of the dunes and the structures that were more beach fronting, hence the back stacking, so that you would, you just kind of would move that and create, again, even a larger dune line because of that. The front notching was a fairly unique unique concept and beach maintenance along the entire coast. And it, as the name implies, it would allow, it allowed us to notch a certain section, notch out with maintainers with heavy equipment, a section of that beach at the toe of the dunes, literally create that notch, and the material that we would capture through our maintenance activities, sand, seaweed, all of that, we would literally pack into that. And we learned just from historical experience that that material would decay fairly rapidly, especially with the seaweed, because it was a high water content. It would decay and become organic material and a viable part of the dune. And so we would have those areas that we would use for that, and we would move down so that we would constantly have an area to stack that. Usually we'd use a part of the beach that was either eroding, so that we would have that area, that space to do that. I'm going to jinx this as soon as I say that we haven't had any of those types of seaweed events. But yeah, we want to keep that front notching, although we've abandoned the back stacking. There's just no need. So that's a little bit about some of the beach maintenance. And so they've identified those areas that GLO is pretty picky about wanting to know. We also maintain a 40-foot maintenance, 40-foot, is that right, Harris? Beach maintenance area to where we can go in there, and by stating that, it gives us kind of some flexibility in cleaning up ends of boardwalks and just working in there to kind of clean out an area of the beach that might be accreting and needs, it's kind of pinching it off. So we've got 40 feet to play with, for lack of a better term, without, having to go in and that wouldn't be considered impacting critical dunes. It's a 40-foot maintenance area that we've got to use. Harris, anything else? You're the one that is intimately, is that a pretty good summary? Only question I have, and I didn't notice this until I was getting ready for the meeting again, identifying those storage areas that you've got. We identified the 13 and 15, or 12 and 15, right? 13 and 15. Do we have to identify those as 2021 forward features? Or are we okay by just identifying those as historical? So, I mean, the implication is we're going to use them. These are the areas we will use. I'm just wondering if that should reflect a 2021 area. And I don't know, maybe it's just splitting hairs, but I'm just trying to avoid any GLO comments back.
Right. No, I think this address on 2021 would suffice. I think so.
Because the areas that are shown on the legend, it just shows 2013 beach maintenance storage area and 2015 beach. And that's the current one, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see one that says 2021.
We had one in 2018 that's coming up for.
But is that, I guess I'm just questioning, is the legend right is all? I know the data is right and the locations are right.
It should be, yes.
Okay. All right. Like I said, it doesn't change the permit at all in any fundamental way. It's like I said, I just want to make sure the GLO doesn't have any questions with the legend, but if so, that's kind of an administrative deal, and we'll correct it. The permit and the
They're
concepts behind it is the same.
implying here that those are the storage areas they're going to use, correct? Yeah.
You see what I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so like I said,
They're implying they're going to use the 2013 storage area. Well, I need to scroll that more. My computer gets real slow when I get these fancy pictures. And whose job is it with the city to make sure that the storage areas as prescribed are getting used?
Well, the buck always stops with us. However, we've just got a great beach maintenance crew under the Public Works Department that they're familiar with these areas. Like I said, and it's fortunately the same ones that we've had for quite a few years, which makes it real easy because we just, make sure that the beach supervisor, which is Doug Turner, has this document and, again, briefs his guys as to what areas we'll use.
Doug is the one who, when his big maintainers are going out,
He knows the areas that he's got to work with for the notching when that comes, that's required. And you can actually go to Google Earth and you can see some, if you go back and use the historical data, you can go back in time and see some of the big notched areas that we had used and filled in pretty successfully. GLO actually kind of had given us, because it was such a novel concept, nobody's really been doing it, we had to really substantiate that it was a viable process for them. We actually had them come out there and we walked at an old site and dug down and looked at how the material had decayed and gone natural again. And it was really hard for them, and vegetated. It was hard for them to argue with the success, but it wasn't their idea, it was ours. And so
I've got limited questions whether it works or not. I've been watching it for 18 years and dunes keep growing here where they're getting shrunk everywhere else. So something's, either we're in a really good spot or something's happening. So that's not a lot of argument there. I mean, people have boardwalks from 1A north, they end up having to dig them out or add extensions to them every so often because they do get buried because goods throw them or raise them up.
Yeah, we're blessed that we've got just got a robust dune system, and there's a whole lot of areas on the Texas coast that wish they were anywhere close to us. And I just hope we never have to test its viability.
Got a little test here.
Not for a while. Anyway, again, compliant with our coastal management plan, and we recommend approval.
Any of the commissioners have any comments or questions? Would anybody like to make a motion on BFDP 21-1839?
Motion to approve dune permit BFDP 21-1839.
Al Burgess has made a motion to recommend approval to council for dune permit BFDP 21-1839. Nick Lorette has seconded the motion to recommend to council to approve dune permit BFDP 21-1839.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
Gary Shipley,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.6, discuss and take appropriate action on FPLT 21-1666, plat of Cinnamon Shore South, Unit 3, Block 1, lots 1R through 9R. Applicant Mustang Island Development, Inc., property location 5800 Highway 361.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I do think we have the engineer, the project engineer here available if you need him. But again, the last two items on our agenda today relate to, again, the phase developments and the replat of a new section of that development as part of their additional phase. This one in particular that we're at now has had one large lot, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, one large lot that they were basically had or actually or replatting into 6 separate lots. Is that correct? 6 separate lots. Again, well within the flexibility afforded a planned unit development. It's not unusual or the least bit unique to see something like this, where they've taken one larger lot that could have been designed or could have been originally planned for a multifamily project, a condo, townhome, something, and do something slightly different, still within the residential or mixed use flexibility that a PUD is afforded. And so that's the case here. They took one lot and now they're making it into 6 residential lots. So it's like I said, pretty typical of what we see. Believe that we had all of the both the project engineer and the reviewing engineer, all items reconciled. Yes, and I think you have that in the in the regular package. Therefore, it meets all of the city's requirements, all the utilities. As you can see, it signed off their approval, so staff recommends approval.
Still scrolling. checked all my boxes. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Council approval for the PLT 211666.
Nick Lorette has motion to approve FPLT 21-1666.
I'll second.
Garrett Kipke has seconded the motion to approve FPLT 21-1666.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Garrett Kipke,
Yes.
Nick Lorette.
Yes.
Chad Schneider,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 4.7, discuss and take appropriate action on FPLT 21-1671, plat of Cinnamon Shore South, Unit 5, part of Cinnamon Shore 2 PUD. Applicant Mustang Island Development, Inc., property location 5800 Highway 361.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I can only assume it as a result of the fast and furious demand for properties in Port Aransas. This is again another replat. This one basically 3 lots, 3-lot tract that's now being platted into the actual development, more what we consider the development look, I guess, with the actual lots identified. So that's the plat that you have before you is like I said, the 3-lot tract. Is that a fair assessment, Stephen? Just the tract was 3 lots into into now this defined, more identifiable planned unit development look. So that's what you have before us. There was a little bit, there's a few items that relating to some of the thoroughfare issues that again, we didn't get the final reconciliation until after the deadline for the inclusion in the packet. So that's what you have before you, just the final comments. We consider them relatively minor and technical in nature, but again, we continue to have some pretty thorough reviews as we should. So like I said, those comments are there at the diocese as a separate document.
Up there in the northwest corner.
The southern,
I was looking at the
I'm
Gulf Waters RV Park.
Yeah, northernmost 3 tracts.
That's in between, that's everything in between what they developed to this point and the Gulf Waters RV.
Not the middle, so there's the ones that they've developed now, there's the 2 middle ones that they're currently getting a June permit for, these are for the outside. And then on the attachment that you guys have there at the very back, the very last 8.5 by 11 sheet is the final review from the engineer. He was able to look at those revisions and give us a final approval letter.
Daniel, do you have something?
Yeah, there's one comment I'd like to make. There's one line. It's been corrected. I don't know if the copy you had a correction. If you could scroll down just.
So this is not the, on the screen is not the corrected copy. This is the corrected copy.
The one they have here.
So, okay, so you've got the corrected copy. So this particular lot down here in the corner was labeled as recreational civic, but it's intended to be a future lot. It's not a lot we intend to sell today, but as we add to it, that lot becomes part of a future block to the south. So I caught that yesterday on the copy, and I think they've corrected it in the copy that's here in front of you today.
That lot,
Lot
31. Yeah, so
Lot
on,
5, I think.
on the second sheet, the second big sheet that I gave you, it's the very left,
Top left.
bottom left.
Bottom left, bottom
One more
corner,
sheet. One more sheet back. Bottom left
Got it.
corner. Lot 30.
31.
And
Oh, yeah, they had a recreational. in parentheses.
Right.
That's all right.
You do have all the utility comments and the engineer's
The
final on the very back of the little package you had is the final acceptance of all.
Came in today. So when they talk about a revised thoroughfare plan for the minor PUD amendment, that's in the actual plat itself.
It's in the.
In the
doc.
PUD documents.
So that first really isn't something that you guys have to look over. It's the PUD documents
Got
with the minor amendments that are approved.
Understood.
And again, just for information, should this plat be approved or when it's approved, the civil plan also gets, we were talking about today, our big concern with these planned unit developments and the tightness is our ability to make sure our fire marshal has a bite at that apple and has a chance to look at the civil plan. So he does do that. And again, so the plat will always, fire code will always trump whatever's done. And if it merits a revision, then so be it. But so he does look at it when it gets to the civil planning. And if it's drawn, fortunately, again, when you have quality engineers that are designing it, then usually it is going to work. But anyway, but fire access has become obviously a more important subject as we grow and as these things get built out and they get packed and close together. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that
So
civil planning fire marshal still has a look at it among all the other things.
So there's no reason for us to approve it with that stipulation that.
Oh, no. I wanted to point that out because it is just for the sake of some of the
Right.
folks in the audience and
Well,
is that
I mean, to me, it looks like where we see, I like the name Summer Punch Lane and Limeade Lane, where they intersect Shirley Temple and Lemonade. It seems, I mean, that's what it says.
I understand.
It seems as though that's that's a little tight.
They get a little tight in there.
Get a
I
little
agree.
Tight in there, and maybe appropriately named C. Scamper Boulevard on the other side. Run from the
I'm
flames.
not going to touch that one at all. But,
So-
no, I understand. That's why, like I said,
I
it
mean, I think that's a good comment that you made that Nathan Kelly, right?
correct.
Yeah, that Nathan's gonna take a look at it.
And he also looks at them, the plats before council.
Right. Okay.
At least there's a sobering ice water lane.
Mm-hmm.
Some more interesting ones.
Yeah.
Take a real close look too.
I'm kind of thinking hard lemonade north, hard lemonade south would be good, but
Who comes up with these names?
Fair part, me. A big portion of our team, I had a lot of alcoholic names in there, but we nixed them in favor of family-friendly names.
Yeah.
Ranch water became limeade and.
A hard lemonade, that's
Yeah.
Well, it's really just lemonade.
yeah.
He was
Oh,
a joke about hard lemonade.
Yeah, that was,
Starting to ring.
that was my idea.
Oh, right.
Sub Shirley Temple.
Yeah,
Nice one. My
Yeah.
favorite.
a twisted temple. Yeah, if you need any help, we've got obviously a lot of ideas up here.
Is lot, okay, I said, never mind.
Realized it helps if we don't change the names, so I have tried to do the names before the plat.
Looks like you're still deeply engrossed, so I haven't interrupted him. Are you finding more funny street names?
No. No, I was just looking at these building lines and utility easements.
Snud?
Match line sheet 4. Sheet 4.
Does any commissioner have a question, comment? Would anybody like to make, I would invite a motion.
I invite Mr. Kipke to make his last motion.
I would like to make a motion to suggest council approve FPLT 21-1671 Cinnamon Shore South Unit 5.
Garrett Kipke has made a motion to approve to city council for FPLT 21-1671.
I'll second that.
Kyle Burgess has seconded the motion for approval for FPLT 21-1671.
Garrett Kipke,
Yes.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
Kyle Burgess,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 5, Planning and Zoning Commission comments and items for future consideration.
Well, staff on behalf of the city manager and mayor would just like to thank you and thank you guys for your service, Kyle and Garrett and Ashley and Absentia. We appreciate you stepping up and serving the community in the position. So again, thank you very much.
Sure thing. It's been a pleasure. Been learning experience. and all that.
Been at it a while, so.
I have. Well, not compared to some, but
Thank you both.
a little while.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway,
Actually as well. As Nicole and I have already discussed this, but I just, for future consideration, I want to make sure my kick in the dunes conversation continues and that we do continue to follow up what we spoke about in the July meeting. Try and look for a good long-term solution.
I'll go.
Let's do it.
The solution?
A long-term solution?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
We just got to make sure we do it one-on-one. Can't go over 4.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to chat. On the agenda. Let's see.
Let's do it. All right, with that, at 5:49 PM, call the adjournment of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the city of Port Aransas on Tuesday, June 29th,
Thank you.
2021.
Everybody have a safe 4th of July holiday. If I don't see some of you, do your shopping tomorrow and be ready to hunker down.
Oh, that's what I always want this time of year.